Hey guys, every so often I have something really cool coming up, and I say, hey, something cool is coming. I didn't give any notice this time, and I don't know if anyone even knows that this was coming. If you knew that I was going to do this, comment on the video and let me know. Be honest. And I may interrogate you as to how you knew. I'm going to post a picture on Instagram later after I am finished with the video. And it's kind of what, you know, like the equivalent of a press leak. Other than that, nobody's going to know about this until the video posts. So, if you're watching, then you know. What we have here is an early Envirofan gold line that has been stripped to the bare metal and polished. So you could call it a polished aluminum or brushed nickel or brushed steel, polished iron. You could call it any number of different things. What in fact I did after stripping it to the bare metal, I used a buffing wheel on the blades. I used a buffing wheel on the canopy and the down rod and the lower canopy. Not this lower canopy, technically. I used them on a canopy, a down rod, and a lower canopy. And it did not make as much of a difference on the steel as it did on the aluminum. So in this case, you have the one lower canopy that hasn't seen the buffing wheel because it has the Envirofan sticker still intact. And, motor was just stripped with a wire, with paint stripper and then a wire brush, and that's it. I tried the buffing wheel; it didn't really make it any shinier. I tried different polishing compounds and different metal polishes, and this was as shiny as I could get it. I actually could have gotten the blades a little shinier. You can see they still got some fingerprints and things on them, they had enough imperfections on them as it was, and the motor has plenty of imperfections and whatnot, that if I polish things too fine with too fine of a polishing compound or whatever, it looked weird because it just showed off every little imperfection. So I actually think this looks great. What else? Let me show you the sticker on top of the motor. Dropped my tape measure there. I did a little bit of blade balancing, not much, but just enough that it would not look off in the video. The blades were pretty badly bent when they were in the restaurant. So you can see this is a 79, labeled 110 volts and 0.9 amps. Now, I thought that 1980 was the first year of the 0.9 amp models. The ones I have downstairs that are 1 amps, I thought those were 79s. Clearly they are not, as these are 79s, so maybe those are 78s. Here. You can kind of see what the tops of the blades look like. This is what the blades would look like without the buffing wheel. Okay. It's a little bit, again, because there's fingerprints and stuff on it from when I was putting it up. I did clean it off a little bit, but it's hard. My hands are still dark with the polishing compound. So, again, I'll try to get a better shot of the top. It's the original gold stripe. This is the only one. This is the only motor with the gold stripe that survived, and the only lower canopy with an Envirofan sticker that survived. Two of the motors have the motor tags on top. The third one had it, and it got destroyed in me trying to figure out how to get the paint off, so it's kind of, I probably could have saved it if I'd tried harder. Last thing I'm going to do before I fire it up, because this is a hard finish to capture, I added 2 additional uplights to try to get better lighting here for the video. I'm going to turn them off and just see if it's better with or without. So you got this little one down here. I don't really notice the difference. I don't know if you do. It's really hard in the video. And then I got this big giant one over here. They're both the same amount of light, it's just the size of the fixture. I can't tell if they made a difference or not. Almost looks like it was better without. I wish somebody could adjust the lights for me while I could look in the camera and see. Let's try one more time. Oh, tripped over the heater. Doesn't really do much, so we'll leave them off for now because none of my other videos have them. Here in the room, it looks a world better with them on, but as I look into the viewfinder of the camera, I almost think it looks better with them off. So, got the amp meter, got the 4-speed control. Let's start all the way on low. 0.23, as most of these start on low. Medium low. It looks just a little bit blurry in my viewfinder. I'm wondering if there's some dust or something on the camera lens. I have been doing no end of buffing and polishing, and paint stripping and whatnot, all of which leaves a lot of dust flying around. Medium high. It's about to get cold up here. And high. Okay, spin it down. Haven't done a single thing to these bearings. The interesting thing is that they were locked up when I pulled them out of the restaurant. But just having been knocked around and getting the paint off was enough to knock the rust out of the bearings or whatever the case may be. And they operate like new. Haven't done a single thing to them electrically or mechanically. Granted, this is the first one that I tested, but they all seem to be the same. Okay, I'm going to test it with the variable speed control. First, I'm just going to make sure there's no dust on my camera. I'm sure that was interesting to look at. Next thing is I'll do the second half of the video with the uplights on. We can look at it later and see if one's better than the other, and then I'll know what to do for future videos. Okay, I forgot I also have to do some dicking around down here to accommodate the other control. Give me just a second. Once again, we're using the solid state control. It came with the ring fan, which I have to set this down. I apologize. Hopefully the ceiling is interesting. Let's add some water. This is the very lowest setting on the control. I believe the trim is all the way down. And it still gives us a pretty, let me see if I have an eyeglass screwdriver up here to play with the trim. Yep, I do. So let's play with the trim. Oops, turned it the wrong way. It's the problem with having a camera to hold. Nope, it looks like it was already turned. No, maybe not. It's not turning very easily. Oh, that's why I knocked the amp meter loose. I was trying to figure out why that was behaving as such. Okay. Come on, amp meter. Maybe if I put that down on the ground. Oh, I can put this up here on this knot. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. Stop it by hand and see. Okay, so that's a good starting point because it's not going to start there on its own. So let's go to 0.16. Start at 0.16. Nope. How about 0.18? I went too quick. Nope. 20. Yep. 20 is the magic number. There is a little bit of buzz though. If you heard the buzz increase, that's because the furnace just kicked on downstairs. You can see the little bolts poking through. The paint covered that up, but stripped the paint away. In fact, a lot of the little imperfections in it, these little nicks and things, were not there when I had it stripped down to the white paint, so I think they were actually factory imperfections that they just covered with the paint. Okay, that's 0.2. Let's go 1/8 of a turn, brings us to 0.35. It's not an egregious buzz, but it's enough of a buzz that I would rather use it on a capacitor control. Plus the capacitor control gives such a good range of speeds. Let's go another eighth of a turn. Another eighth of a turn. 0.69. It's about to get cold in here. Another eighth of a turn. 0.85. Now I'm cold. It's 49 degrees up here. I guess the heaters have been working because it was 30 degrees when I got here. And the rest of the way brings us to high, which we've seen before. And spinning down. So if you made it this far, I'd like you to comment on the video and let me know one of two things. First of all, do things look better with the added up lights or without, so that I know whether or not to use them on future videos. Second of all, if you had any inclination that this was coming, did you know that I was going to do a polished metal gold line? And because I thought I did a pretty good job keeping it a secret, but I want to know if I actually was successful at that or not. So, there's the tag. You'll notice the tag says Made in Canada, which we know is not accurate. Also says Buffalo, New York. And you know what? As an extra special treat, since the video is already going, let's go downstairs and look at the work in progress. I hope it's not too messy. There's the other two motors there. Two canopies, one lower canopy. Here's the buffing wheel, the other lower canopy. This is the lower canopy that got buffed. Here, I can show you, you can compare. This one has not been cleaned up either. This one has been buffed and then also cleaned with paint thinner. That one has not been buffed or cleaned. You can see the difference. It's not very noticeable. And then here's the other pile of blades here. There's blades there, blades there. Again, that's, oh, see, that's the stuff I need to clean off. You can see the metal finish. How different it is. These are just steel. Even those, you can see that has not been polished. On the bottom there, it's been polished. You can see it's a little bit different in coloring. So here's what I was using on them. Buffing wheel. Wire brush. Dremel tool with a smaller wire brush. Polishing compounds. You get the idea. I haven't decided if I'm going to put together and test the other two or just pack them all away. If I do, I'll do videos of each one even though they're the same. Also, I've not decided if I'm going to keep them all bare metal and clear coat them or paint one of them brown or paint all of them something. I haven't decided yet. I got to go in there with a little fine Dremel attachment and get around the label. Again, these are both 79. I thought these were 79, but they're not. Apparently these are earlier. So, learn something new every day. Well, thanks for watching, and look forward to your comments. Hey guys, some of you may have seen my video of the polished aluminum gold line. I posted pictures on Instagram, and my wife commented that she liked it. I can't remember what the exact comment was, but my wife almost never takes an interest in the fan stuff, depending on how you qualify it. This is either the third or fourth fan that she's actually liked enough to say something to me. So I figured that, combined with the fact that I was very proud of it and wanted a chance to enjoy it, earned it a temporary place in my living room. The Terra ceiling fan that was previously up there will be going back probably after the holidays. I thought this was a good time to have this up here with the brilliantly shiny blades, because then the Christmas lights and stuff could reflect off of them, and I thought that was a cool look. So first, let's experiment with different lighting and see what looks best for the video. That's a little dark for the video, so we'll leave those on. Let's turn. Yeah, I think those should be on too. Just out of curiosity, both off. Leaves pretty much just the Christmassy stuff. Okay, so everything on is ideal for the video, which makes sense. So I'm controlling it with this Casablanca 4-speed control, and I was trying to find one with a plain knob, but the control that had the best values, the 5, 10, 15, was the Casablanca, and I didn't feel right having a Casablanca control and not using the Casablanca knob. So there's that. Start it out on low. I'll get a few different angles here. Now these are the same blades that were on it when I tested it at the shop, and I happen to know that 2 of them are from a matched set and 1 isn't, and I can tell that by the way they're bent. I went back and looked at the pictures of the fans when they were originally installed in the Mexican restaurant. 1 fan had blades that were bent pretty much straight, 1 fan had blades that were bent very steeply down, and 1 fan had blades that were kind of in the middle. And when I originally put these blades on it to test it at the shop, I just picked 3 at random. I didn't even pick the 3 best ones. I just picked 3 at the top of the pile. I think they were the 3 that I buffed first. And 1 was bent very much downward, and the other 2 were pretty much straight. So at some point I'm going to go through the other blades, probably testing the other motors, and try to figure out which ones would have originally been sets. Would have been nice if I'd kept them together. It was just too hectic trying to do the stripping and whatnot. That thing really looks good there. It's too bad that nothing in this house is brushed nickel or stainless steel. I'm trying to think. Nia, is there anything here that's brushed nickel or stainless steel?
Oh, I don't know.
The sink, obviously. That's about it. The front doorknob. And the grill on Abby's Urban Jet. Everything else here is some variation of brass that I can see. Let's go up to what the Casablanca control says is medium. I'll probably leave this control here when I put the Terra fan back up. These give a nice range of speeds on a Terra too, so. What are your thoughts, Neon, if the polished aluminum fan goes with anything, even though there's nothing else here that's that type of metal?
I don't know, I just match stuff with whatever I like.
Yeah, well, I think you probably heard me say that the main reason I swapped this out was because you liked it, and that meant a lot to me. So, do you like it here, or do you just like it on Instagram? You can be honest.
It looks nice wherever it is.
I just turned it to medium high, as the control calls it. I don't know if you can hear in the background of the video, there's chopping happening in the kitchen. Are you making me something delicious?
Mm-hmm.
She gave me a dirty look there, probably because I'm not supposed to say me. It's something, she's making us something delicious. Is that correct?
I'm just trying to concentrate on chopping with a very sharp knife.
Ah.
Not on you.
See there? I just got in trouble. Probably going to leave it on this speed most of the time because in the winter, with the vaulted ceiling here and with the rather sucky heating in this condo, we actually heat with space heaters instead of the baseboard heat because it does a better job and uses less electricity. So probably keep it on this speed pretty much because that will help with the heat reclamation. So let's go up to high. This is quite a lot of fan for this room. This is a 56-inch fan. I'm sure that most people know that. But that's a lot of fan for a residential living room that's not particularly huge. Something's hitting up there that wasn't before, like a wire inside the canopy maybe. It's going tick, 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 tick. It'll probably go away, but if it doesn't, I'll go up there with the ladder and get to the bottom of it. Off. Now, when I tested it in the shop, I used a down rod that came with a Hunter original that I had that was just a piece of galvanized steel that at one point had been painted gold. This is for a brass original. And that's what I used at the shop. It was 6 inches. It had the claw. It was the right color. I just buffed it up on the buffing wheel. And I tried that here, and I felt like it was just a bit too short. So what that is that's a 8-inch piece of galvanized steel that's been buffed in the buffing wheel. And I used the claw from a Hunter original. The down rods that these came with were way too long. And depending on what literature you read, gold lines have come with 10-inch down rods, 12-inch down rods, and 18-inch down rods. I didn't actually think to measure what the factory down rod would have been on a gold line from this era. It would either have been 10 or 12. So you can see the tree reflecting in the blades. That's exactly why I put it up this season. And so depending on what you're comparing it to, it would be maybe 2 inches shorter than what the factory down rod would have been. My only concern was having enough clearance between the tip of the blade and the lower edge of the ceiling. And there's definitely more than enough. I did try it with the 6-inch first, and there was still more than enough, but it just looked like it. Okay, well that's interesting. Trying it here. Let me try turning the lights off. No, so it's actually going to stall out on that lowest speed. Oh, there was a little... The bearings need to break in. That's what that is. If you notice, there was a jerk when it started. I was trying to see if it was an electrical dead spot or if it was a... just the bearings. Because I haven't done a single thing to these bearings. I haven't oiled them or anything. And the fans were actually, I think I said this in the other video, the fans were actually frozen. The bearings were frozen when I took the fans down. And just knocking the motors around in the process of stripping the paint. Got the bearings freed up. I didn't have to do anything, but you can see that they still need a little bit of TLC. Because it's not gonna... Still not gonna start. Okay, it started from a stalled position every other time I tried. Let's interesting. Well, I'll play with it some more and see. Because one thing I don't want it to do is stall out. And I don't even want it stalled out if, like, let's say I come in here and turn it on lower, my daughter does, or my wife does, and doesn't realize that it doesn't get started. So it's not even a matter of it stalling out while it's running. It's a matter of, you know. So, if, here, we're going to go through this. We're going to run it on high again. Stop it. While we're waiting, Nia, is there anything else you want to say about this fan since...
No, I don't know anything about it.
Well, do you remember that me and Andy took these down from a Mexican restaurant? Do you remember that story?
Uh-huh.
Do you remember that, or is that something?
I remember that that is a thing.
Yeah. It was a Mexican restaurant over in Monona, and went in there and took them down, and then I was upset because I've been really wanting brown fans like this, and they were brown, but that's because somebody had painted them brown and did a really terrible job of it. And that's how I ended up stripping them to the bare metal. Okay, let's see if it starts from stalled position now. Yep, so it's just the bearings need to break in. So I'm going to turn it back down, just let it run for a bit and enjoy it. And turn off the lights in here and set it how I would normally for me enjoying the Christmas lights, which is... you need this light on here, Nia? These track lights?
Mm-mm.
My wife is amazing. She can work in the kitchen in almost complete darkness. It's something I've never understood. She'll be in there chopping vegetables and making these just culinary masterpieces with like one 25-watt bulb. I'm like, baby, don't you want to turn some lights on? And what do you say? Oh, usually that. She just gives me a look. So... there you have it, and hope you enjoyed this video.